From a new player's perspective, Hypixel Skyblock's dungeons can seem really daunting. With all of the secrets and boss mechanics you need to memorize, as well as figuring out what gear you'll need at what floors, it could all be very overwhelming. Today, I'll bring you the solution to all of these problems. I'll be showing you how you can go from a floor 1 freshie to the king of the catacombs. Subscribe. It doesn't matter if you're 100 hours into the game, or if you've never played Hypixel Skyblock before, this guide will show you how to get into the dungeons as fast as you can, from the very start of a new profile. Really, there's no requirements to start this. This guide is also Iron Man friendly, as the majority of the progression in dungeons is the same for both Iron Man and non-Iron Man profiles. Iron Man just, has a lot more grinding to it. So yeah, no matter what game mode you play, you're guaranteed to benefit from this guide, unless you're stranded. Tough luck, bud. For those of you who are familiar with dungeons, I should probably let you know that the majority of the early floors progression will be strictly for the mage class's perspective. Why? Because it's the only class that makes any sense early on. Really, the other DPS classes for the first few floors need a serious rework. Specifically, mage has by far the most clear and linear progression. It's easy to learn, easy to carry out, and it's got the best items for the early dungeon floors. Let's not waste any time and get started right from the personal island. Okay, you've just started a new profile, and you want to play dungeons. Now. Well, you can't, but we will be able to soon. Our first goal is to reach level 15 in the combat skill for access to the catacombs lobby. So with that in mind, let's go mining. That's right, the first step to obtaining combat level 15 is to get mining level 12, but in order to do that, we gotta farm. Only for a little bit. Break wheat in the hub for about a minute, and sell it all to any NPC. You should only really need a few thousand coins. Some coins will be used to buy gold for a golden shovel, which will be your first mining tool. Hey, just trust me here. Buy 40 bottles of enchanting from the librarian, and enchant that shovel with efficiency 2. Some of you know very well where this is going. Okay, to the mushroom desert you go. Run around and dig up sand until you hit mining level 12. Strangely enough, sand gives 3 to 4 mining XP per block broken, and you can insta-mine sand with just an efficiency 2 golden shovel. Hey, you have one of those. Off you go, start digging. Have you reached mining level 12 yet? No? That time you spent watching that time lapse could have been time you spent digging. Anyways, once you hit mining level 12, go ahead and sell all of your sand. If you're playing on an Iron Man profile, you may want to craft a sand minion instead. Alright, go ahead and make your way down to the deep caverns. The next step in this process is to obtain 3 different types of 10 enchanted mining resources. Mining resources is classified by any of the following resources shown on screen. If you're on a non-Iron Man profile, you could just buy the cheapest 3 types of the aforementioned materials from the bazaar or trade for them. All well and good, but some of us hate ourselves more than others, so here's how you go about doing this on Iron Man. Just mine in the lapis quarry until you obtain 30 enchanted lapis. But Logan, that's only one kind of material. Yes, I know. For some reason, the Rise NPC has been bugged for a very long time, and he'll just take all 30 of the same enchanted material as long as you swap servers each time, which would be really neat, except I just lied to you. The Skyblock developers decided that now, after years of it existing, would be a great time to patch the bug.
Thank you, Hypixel. Very cool.
Okay, so what now? Iron Man players will want to gather 10 enchanted redstone, 10 enchanted lapis, as well as 10 enchanted diamonds. Redstone and lapis are both obvious choices due to their base resource yield being very high. I chose diamonds for the third resource since the diamond blocks spawn in the final layer of the caverns, which hold a very high resource yield. So make your way down to the obsidian sanctuary and start mining those shiny blue blocks. What's that? The Obsidian Sanctuary is too scary? It's time to put on your big guy pants and take some deaths. Just make sure you aren't carrying too many coins on you. Alright, time for the non-Iron Man profiles to start paying attention again. Now that we all have all of your resources, turn around and give them all the Rise, who's located next to the lift operator in the Obsidian Sanctuary. If you've done everything right, you should have been teleported into the Dwarven Mines. Now you can actually start gaining combat skill XP, like I said you would be able to at the beginning of the video. Hey, don't get all pissy about it. It only took us 4 minutes to get here. Okay, well, I guess it may have taken you just a little longer, but hey, we're here now. Make your way to the Great Ice Wall, where all of the Ice Walkers spawn. These guys will involuntarily volunteer to give you all of the combat XP you need, but if you'd like, Endermed would work as an alternative, but that requires much more of a setup than just a shovel and a pickaxe. Ice Walkers have an extraordinary amount of defense, like literally 1,000. Look. If you try to punch them or hit them with a sword, you may not be too happy with the results, and you will be very dead. Wait a second. Ice Walkers are made of ice. Ice can be instant mined with most pickaxes. You have a pickaxe. In a recent update, the amount of locations where these guys can spawn was over doubled, which is just even better for combat XP. Ice Walkers also have a 0.25% chance to drop 1 of 4 glacial armor pieces when killed, which is an incredible armor set for starting dungeons. Congratulations, you've reached Combat 15. That probably took a while, but it had to be done. Make your way over to the Dungeon Hub and immediately queue into an entrance floor run. If you're on a non-Iron Man profile, your main focus should be gaining Catacombs XP. It doesn't matter which class you pick, as long as you can hit their respective milestones. I strongly suggest against running the dungeon solo, unless... Your goal should be to reach Catacombs level 3. Once you're there, buy a Dreadlord sword from the auction house. These swords are really cheap, you shouldn't really have any problems affording them. Iron Men, you poor souls. Queue up for an entrance run with a team and choose the mage class. This is absolutely necessary for this to work, as you don't really have a weapon. In dungeons, you're given 2 abilities depending on which class you choose, a regular ability and an ultimate. Mage has by far the best ultimate for damage. Iron Men, once the run starts, you'll want to hold your dungeon orb and immediately left click. This will activate your ultimate ability, crashing lightning down on every mob near you. Specifically seek out Crypt Dreadlords, as they are the only enemy that can drop the Dreadlord sword, but don't get too close now, as Crypt Dreadlords are regularly seen walking into gyms with their hoods on and benching 350. In short, they hurt. Again, get to Catacombs level 3 so you can actually use the sword. Okay, got a Dreadlord sword? Good. Now is a good time to break to you that you've been lied to again. Unlucky, bro. The Dreadlord sword is barely a sword, as its melee attack damage is god awful, but it should be more of a staff. The Dreadlord sword's right-click ability is where it shines. Costing 40 mana, it shoots a Wither Skull wherever you're facing, dealing loads of area of effect damage. For those who don't know, that means it explodes. Now let's go upgrade some armor. Go back to the Dungeon Hub and talk to Ophelia. She sells many items, but we're only really interested in one for now, the Dark Goggles. Other than making you look really edgy, this helmet gives you a ton of intelligence and, more importantly, raw ability damage increase of plus 25%. This is pretty much the only helmet you'll be using until you can upgrade it into the Shadow Goggles, and later, the Wither Goggles. Dark Goggles cost 80,000 coins, which could seem like a lot until you realize you could just... Okay, Dreadlord sword, check. Dark Goggles, check. But you're at the point where your glacial armor is out of style, and I'm sure you're sick of getting bullied for it. It's time for some more armor upgrades. Really, any armor dropped from any dungeon mobs would work for this stage of the game, but I find that the heavy armor that's dropped from tank zombies is the best all around. It provides great survivability, and can be reforged to Wise for a boost of intelligence. Per usual, Iron Man profiles have to run dungeon floors until they drop the desired armor from the mobs, while non-Iron Man players have access to buying the dungeon armor they want from the auction house. Just don't buy any helmets. Remember, you already have one. The Dark Goggles will be better than anything you can use right now. If you found anything in this video useful, or just simply entertaining, please consider leaving a like on the video, as it would really help the channel grow. Hey, after you finish watching, maybe even consider subscribing. Trust me, I know that the standards for Skyblock content aren't very high right now. Anyways, I think that should be about it for just starting to get into dungeons. From here on out, you'll be climbing the floors and steadily upgrading your gear as you go. The higher the floor, the better loot you get, from both chests and mob drops. Knowing this, you'll always want to keep a lookout for better gear. What's that? Mage isn't the only class in dungeons? I don't know what you're talking about. Berserker? Healer? Nuh-uh. No, you can't make me. Oh yes, I almost forgot. You still need to be able to better understand boss mechanics and secret locations. This solution is simple. Mods. Just use mods. No, not hacks. Using mods is not the same thing as hacking. I have an entire video on mods for Skyblock, most of which include great dungeons features such as puzzle solvers, secret revealers, and even a sweet minimap. Okay, that's gonna do it. Check out my second channel, and goodbye now.